Good evening, everyone, and welcome into a special edition of SCTV Sports. And Noah Keim, Steve Jones alongside you. But what makes tonight so special about this edition of SCTV Sports is we're going to be previewing the Albany Cup game. Noah?
Yes, we are. It's one of the biggest games of the year for Siena men's and women's basketball. I mean, it's one of the biggest rivalries in the capital region, and it is for a reason. This is a game everyone has marked on their calendars, not just the players, but also all the fans, all the students as well. Much anticipated, and it's going to be a must-needed win for this team. This Siena Saints team who has dropped their last two games, and one of them against Colgate this past Monday night, we know very well. I'm sure all you guys know as well. A heartbreaker.
Absolutely a heartbreaker. It was a game where each team had an equal chance to win throughout. Back and forth affair. Until the latter part of the second half, Noah. In the latter part of that second half, Colgate started to pull away, started to build a bit of a lead, but then all of a sudden, Siena got that one final burst of life right back in them. They tied the game at 69 after going back and forth, but then with 2.7 seconds left, coming out of a timeout, the ball got in the hands of Colgate guard Jalen Cox, who sunk a half-court shot, an answered prayer, one might say, Noah.
You can definitely say that 100%. It's an unfortunate way for that game to end. It would have been a great win for the guys to get. Everyone played well. I mean, great bench production. We got great production from the starters as well. It's just an unfortunate way for a big game that we really were looking to win. We would have started the season 3-1. Great start. But, I mean, stuff like that, it's sports. That's the kind of stuff that happens. And I've heard that you spoke to the very man who hit the shot, the Colgate guard who hit that shot. What did he have to say about that?
Well, yeah, Noah's right, folks. I got a chance to speak with Jalen Cox after the game in our post-game interview, and all of a sudden my brain shifted from what was going on the offensive side of things for you guys to, wait, let me ask him what was going through his mind when he took that shot. And he said to me simply, this is something we work on every day in practice. We want to make sure we are ready for this moment. And, well, look where we are.
Yeah, he clearly was.
You think it's a March moment. No, here we are in mid-November, and this is something that's already starting to pay off in practice.
Oh, yeah, and practice makes perfect, as they always say, and clearly they displayed that. It's one of those shots when you think about taking in practice, a lot of coaches will tell you, don't shoot shots that you won't shoot in a game. Well, their coach apparently knows more than most, because that's a shot he shot in that game, and it won them the game. It was an amazing shot, and it was just a really unfortunate way for that game to end for the Siena Saints.
Jalen Cox, 22 points, 3 rebounds, and assist in 38 minutes. He could not miss in that second half. A very competitive, as we mentioned, game, but also it was the Jalen Cox show.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned when you're doing the sideline reporting and then he hits that shot and kind of everything else goes out the window. The whole time I'm sure you're prepping, thinking about what you're going to say,
oh, absolutely,
what questions you're going to ask.
Absolutely.
A shot like that happens, you got to wipe that brain clean and just talk about that because it's such a big and amazing moment. Unfortunately, it came at our expense.
Yeah, and speaking of wiping the slate clean, that is exactly what Siena will look to do Friday night. Now, in the scoring column for the Saints, right away, a few things that stick out are we had 3 guys in double figures. Antonio Chandler with 11 points, Gavin Doty, 14 points, and Francis Folafak with 16. A great way for the young man to continue and start his Siena dominance at home. And now you're on the back end of a 2-game homestand, Noah.
Yeah, this is the perfect time to get things going, get the season back on track where it was started. Started with 2-0. Can't ask for a much better start than that. There's still plenty of time for these guys to get back on track. And now you mentioned the points. The scoring was great, but what stands out to me was the rebounding by these guys. You got 2 players with 7, 4, 5, 2. That's a big thing for teams like this, especially when you're playing against competition like Colgate and a team like UAlbany, a good basketball team. The ball is your most precious asset throughout the game. So it's important to take care of it, avoid turnovers, avoid steals, especially crashing those boards. Any ball that's available, the Saints should be looking to get it in their hands and start moving down the court to put up some numbers against UAlbany.
Well, speaking of rebounding, Siena's starting 5, which was Antonio Chandler, Brendan Coyle, Tasman Goodrick, Gavin Doty, and Justice Schultz, had 25 rebounds as a group on the floor.
You can't ask for much more. I mean, 25 rebounds as a collective in this type of game. Especially when a game like this where it's so competitive, it's so down to the wire, it's easy to make some mental errors because, I mean, when games get close, that's when you really have to lock down, lock in. You have to throughout the entire game, but when it gets down to the wire, it's important to take care of the ball. And they were doing that. It's unfortunate the way it had to end with that shot that we were talking about earlier, but they were doing all the right things. And like you said before, UAlbany, we can wipe the slate clean and pick it back up on those good habits and can close out that game. And I think that the Saints have a really good shot at taking that win.
Well, as Noah talked about, the Albany Cup game, Siena continues to look to find a way to get that cup back. And that's going to be the theme. How can we get the cup back? How can we make the school proud? And how can we make Loudonville and Albany proud?
Yeah, and it was an unfortunate loss last year in the game, losing by 10 points to UAlbany. But you got to leave that in the past. You can't dwell on that. You can't have that in your mind. We got a lot of fresh faces on both sides of the ball, and they're ready to make their impact and get their moment here at Siena in a big way early in the season. Statement win. I mean, the MAC is wide open. The conference is wide open. No one's running away with it at all. I know we're early in the season, but usually you can weed out who the strong teams are, who are the weaker teams are. But right now, everyone's staying solid, and the Saints are one of those teams that are right in that mix. So picking up a big win like this, not only would it boost morale for the school and the players and everything like that, but it keeps the train moving. It keeps you moving in the right direction as we get later on into the season.
Well, as Noah mentioned, MAC play yet to start. Obviously, Albany in the America East, Siena in the MAC. They will both have to wait later on towards this winter, as Siena's first MAC games will be the first weekend in December. But pivoting back to our Albany Cup matchup here tonight, what would you say would be your ideal starting five for the Saints? Would you be running it back with the lineup that's been popular so far in the first few games, or what are you thinking?
I think it's hard to say because you want to use. I was about to use the term, if it's not broke, don't fix it. I know we dropped the last 2 games. But you saw in the Colgate game, when we're hanging with them the entire time, it's a competitive game. It's a hard-fought game. And in most scenarios, that's a game we walk out and we go home with a win. But things just didn't shake out that way. I think we run it back with the same starting unit. I think they all did their job, and especially with the smaller unit that they're running right now. The rebounding was outstanding for that small of a lineup. You don't have really anyone who's towering above everyone else. It's kind of rebounding by committee, defense by committee. So I think that should be the same starting five. And we had great bench production. And I think you keep that unit together. Again, don't fix what's not broken. If you have a bench unit that's moving, clicking well, you got to just stick with it.
24 points off the bench for the Saints, as Noah mentioned. Now, the key thing here for Albany, on the flip side of things, Albany's looking for their first major, really statement road win. Now, for many teams, they don't see that until conference play, or they may not see that until that rivalry game. Well, here we are, the rivalry game.
Yeah, and like you just said, rivalry game. I mean, even if the game isn't the biggest when it comes to the standings and stuff like that, this type of win, especially a team that's been struggling on the road, this can change everything. This can flip your season right around. Everyone, we know, the players know, all you guys at home watching know how big of a rivalry this is and how important it is for each of these teams to try to leave with a win. Big morale boost. It just gives you that confidence as you keep going, especially for Albany that's looking to get their first road win. Getting a win like this to be your first road win, that could do wonders for them, and I'm sure they're going to be coming in looking for that and have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. I'm sure people are talking. They're struggling on the road. They're not finding much success. If they go out and beat this team on the road, it's going to quiet some noise.
Well, absolutely, I agree. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to step aside. When we come back, we're going to give more about our predictions for the Albany Cup, as well as take a look at what might be our insights and keys to the win.
Siena University isn't just a new name. It's a promise of opportunity, mentorship, and a community that sees and supports you. Scholarships that honor your achievements and your future. It's hands-on learning from day one, with professors who know your potential and prepare you for what's next. Saints rise here, learning to lead with skill and heart. We go by Siena University, but what we deliver, everything a university should be.
Welcome back to this special edition of SCTV. Back again with Steve Jones, and we're going to be going over some of the keys to success for Siena and UAlbany as they go into this game tonight.
Yeah, so far UAlbany looking for that first key road win. They've had 3 tough road losses at Marquette, as well as UMass, as well as Rhode Island too. 3 tough losses. They've got 2 home wins against 9 Division I schools in SUNY Delhi, as well as Paul Smith's. Now they're looking for that all-important first Division I win, first road win too, and they're looking to do it nonetheless for the Albany Cup.
Yeah, no, 100%. And as we mentioned, how they need to get, this is going to be a huge win for them. Just like it would be for the Saints, it would be a huge win for Albany. Like we mentioned before. What are some of the things that you think that Albany needs to do to try to get this win? And what are some things that the Saints need to focus on to bring home this win?
Well, for Albany, it's all going to be about how they can guard Gavin Doty and how well their guards can play. If Gavin Doty isn't able to get going, You have Justice Schultz too. Well, like we saw the other night, Justice Schultz, a little bit of a slower start. Gavin Doty got the Saints offense going. I believe he had 12 at halftime in the Colgate game Monday night. So for UAlbany, it's going to be all about how well their guards can play defensively in the backcourt.
Yeah, and then I think it's almost very similar for Siena as well. Going up against an Albany team that plays at a high pace. Siena's a team that doesn't play at such a high pace. It's not a bad thing necessarily either way, but I think for the Saints to come away with this win, limiting that pace that they can play at, getting rebounds, getting stops, pressuring the ball, forcing turnovers, that is going to be the big thing, I think, for the Saints. Going to generate extra points, extra looks, and keep the momentum on our side. We're already at home. We got the crowd around us. It'll be a mixed crowd, but we all know it's going to be mostly Saints fans. Come on now. And it's just going to keep the energy up, just high-level defense and just getting extra possessions. I think that's what it's really going to come down to, that defense and who gets up more shots. I really think it'll come down to that.
Speaking of defense, we talked about in the open, a part of our first segment, how important it was to clean the glass for the Saints. What about the Great Danes? How do you feel about that?
I think it goes both ways. I think the rebounding, it's always big. Like I said just a second ago, having the ball is the most important thing in the game. If you have the ball, it's hard to lose. So getting those rebounds for both teams is going to be huge. Getting steals, getting major stops is going to be big for both teams. And UAlbany, as I mentioned, they like playing at a high pace. Easiest way to play at a high pace is getting those offensive rebounds and getting down the court as fast as possible, at least the easy transition buckets, and it puts a lot of pressure on the defense. Hopefully the Saints can get up and kind of stop that a little bit, maybe get some more offensive rebounds, which can help prevent those fast break opportunities for UAlbany. But if Albany's able to crash the glass on the offensive and defensive board, it's going to be hard for the Saints to keep up with that. But we both know they can.
Well, absolutely. And two keys to Albany's success tonight are their guards. As we mentioned again, those two guards are Amir Lindsay as well as Zachary Matulu. Now, Amir Lindsay did not play versus Paul Smith, so barring any further setback, if he was to be out, the next man up would be Zachary Matulu. Now, his production has been outstanding so far for Albany. It's a guy who ended up seeing more and more minutes in playing time as last season progressed. And last year, he only played 2 minutes in the Albany Cup. So he has something to prove here for everybody, and that could be such a huge, huge part of Albany's offense and defense on both ends of the floor, Noah.
Oh, definitely, and especially, like you said, if he's out, they're going to need someone to step up. And like you mentioned, he's going to have most likely he's going to have that chip on his shoulder. I didn't get a lot of playing time last year. This is my moment to prove that I belong on this court and can really contribute to this team, especially in a major game like this. This is a great stage to set up and kind of propel yourself. And transitioning from that, I would say same thing for Siena as well. We had great performance from our bench last game against Colgate, 24 points off the bench. Those guys really stepped up. Unfortunate the way it ended, but they did step up. If we have another performance like that from these guys, it's going to be hard for us to lose. We already have our starters who do a great job. They put up points, multiple players in double figures. That extra bench punch is just what's going to propel us that next level.
Well, for the Saints, their interior play, obviously Monday night, was a little shorthanded without Riley Mulvey. We'll see if he is a go for tonight or if we'll see his return next week during Siena's Thanksgiving tournament down in D.C. And Noah, who would be a big man you'd like to see step up for the Saints tonight? And I think I know who you're going to go with.
Oh, yeah, who's that?
Francis Folafek.
I agree. I think that is the X factor to this game. I think he's the biggest wild card on this Saints team right now. Like we mentioned before, we're a little undermanned right now, especially at the big man position, so we need someone to step up. And he proved he's capable of stepping up in that game against Colgate, and we need him to do it again. And I think he's very much capable of doing that. He showed it. And if he's able to do that, like I said, bench, the most important thing for us right now, I believe. And if he's able to step up again like he did, I think we'll be good to go.
16 points for the young man off the bench Monday night versus Colgate. And then once again, the Saints looking to put not only Monday night in the rearview mirror, but also this past Albany Cup in the rearview mirror. As when we come back, we'll give you our predictions as well as our X factors for the game tonight. Stick around.
Picture the university you've been dreaming of. It feels personal. Professors who know your potential and help you reach it. It feels exciting. Opportunities that start right away. It feels inspiring. Friends who challenge you and become family. It feels like purpose, learning to lead with skill and heart. And it feels possible with scholarships that recognize your achievements and open the door to it all. This is where Saints rise. This is Siena University.
Welcome back to a special edition of SCTV Sports, previewing the Albany Cup. Noah Keim, myself. Now, Noah, who is your X factor for this game?
For the Saints, I'm going to have to go with the man off the bench, Francis Folafak. He had a great game against Colgate, 16 points in 17 minutes. I mean, it's almost a point a minute. You can't do much better than that. He had a rebound as well. I think that bench punch is going to be something we really need, especially because we're a little undermanned right now. And that bench punch is going to be so important. 16 points off the bench against Colgate, like I said. Another performance like that, I think it's going to be hard for us not to walk out of here with a win, with extra scoring like that off the bench.
Well, then, as we talked about too in the break, you have the Siena X Factor, I have the Albany X Factor. I'm taking number 14, Zachary Matulu, a product of the Capital Region. So I'm sure this means more to him than it does to a lot of the guys on the floor in general. Now, you may have a couple of very special cases that they are from Albany. Maybe him and Brendan Coyle have the same amount of special feeling for this rivalry. But, Noah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's definitely a game. I would imagine growing up he heard about, if you live in this area, if you're from this area, and you see it at the school obviously, but if you grew up in this area, you know how big of a deal this game is, how deeply rooted this rivalry is. So I'm sure it's on his mind. There's no way it's not. It's got to be circled on his calendar, just like it is for all these players. They may say differently. A lot of that that's the politically correct answer. That's the media answer, saying, yeah, it's just a normal game, but it means a little bit more to a normal game. At least it does to us up here and us on this whole campus.
Yes, it does. Now, Noah, what are your final score predictions for this game as we wrap up the post-game or pre-game show? Excuse me.
Well, first, I'm going to say I'm taking UAlbany to win this game.
Really?
I'm just kidding. Of course, I'm riding with my guys. I'm going to take the Siena Saints to win this game 75, and I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be 75 Saints, and I think it would be 72 for UAlbany. I'm hoping for a Saints win, but a nice close rivalry game. Keep building up that rivalry. I think that would be great for everyone, and especially great for the Siena Saints. How about you, Steve?
As for me, I'm going with a final of 78-72 in favor of the Siena Saints.
I like to hear that.
Yes,
I like to hear that. We'll get the Saints
sir.
back in the win column, back above 500. We're going to keep chugging along in this season. Like you said earlier, MAC play is coming up soon. Look to get some key wins there.
Well, as we said, tip-off just under an hour from MVP Arena. If you're unable to be there, you can join and watch on ESPN Plus. For Finding Siena Radio, it's Jams 96.3. And for the UAlbany side of things, for their radio, it is 104.5, the team ESPN Radio.
And that'll do it for our time today, for me and Steve. For more from us, you can follow us at our Instagram page, Siena Communications TV. And for more content, we have a live show at 7 p.m. every Wednesday right here on this YouTube channel.
Be sure to stay tuned for further notifications about pre-game shows, post-game shows, and all the more to come. Noah.
Yes, sir.
Have a good evening, everybody. Go Saints.